Most people, when they're considering moving to Houston, Texas, they think that the most important thing that they're going to buy is the house to make sure everything is perfect, but it's actually not. One of the biggest decisions that you're going to make that's most important is actually where you're going to live, because where you choose to live is going to determine your commute, your lifestyle, and how much of your home actually appreciates over time. Here's the problem. Most people moving to Houston are being told to look at places like Katy, Cypress, or the Woodlands. But what if I told you some of the best opportunities right now are actually on the south side of Houston? In this video, I'm breaking down the top 5 suburbs to move to in Houston in 2026. We are going to cover which areas are growing the fastest, where you're going to get the most house for your money, which suburbs are going to be best for your families, and which ones are going to give you the best long-term value. If you're thinking about buying or relocating to Houston this year, reach out to us. We help people every single day navigate these areas, negotiate new construction, make sure you're making the right move financially. We list homes, we sell homes, anything home related, commercial related, residential related, we can take care of that for you. So before we jump into the list, you need to understand what's happening in Houston right now. Houston is expanding outward fast, and the south side of Houston is being driven by 3 main things: the expansion of the Texas Medical Center, highway infrastructure like 288, and massive master plan communities being developed. What this means is areas that used to be considered secondary are now becoming some of the most in-demand places to live. And here's the key difference between these suburbs. Some are already established and stable, and some are still early with massive upside. We're going to break down both. First, we're going to start off with Pearland, Texas. Pearland is one of the most established suburbs in Houston. This is the area you move to when you want convenience, stability, and strong resale value. Pearland has a population of around 130,000 people, and it continues to grow steadily. One of the biggest advantages here is the location. You're about 15 to 25 minutes from the Texas Medical Center with direct access through Highway 88. That's a huge deal for a lot of buyers. When it comes to jobs, a lot of residents work in the medical field or commute into downtown Houston. Now let's talk about schools for a second. Pearland ISD has a strong reputation, with schools like Dawson High School and Pearland High School performing really well. That alone drives a lot of demand on the housing side. The most in-demand homes are 3 to 4 bedroom, single-family homes, especially in communities like Shadow Creek Ranch. Average days on market is typically around 30 to 45 days, so homes are moving at a healthy pace in this area. In terms of appreciation, Pearland is not the fastest growing market, but it is one of the most consistent. This is where people build steady equity over time. Lifestyle-wise, you've got Pearland Town Center, you got plenty of restaurants over there, you got shopping, you got gyms, you got everything you need, and it's already here. This area feels complete. It's ready to go. Now, the pros of Pearland, obviously we talked about great schools, strong location, consistent demand. Some of the cons of Pearland, we're looking at a higher price point, less new construction. There's only 2 new construction neighborhoods in Pearland right now, and that's Alexander, and then you got Massey Oaks. That's the only 2 in Pearland right now. So slightly less upside compared to newer areas. Pearland is going to be best for medical professionals, families, and move-up buyers looking for stability. Next, we're going to go right next door to Pearland, and that's going to be Friendswood, Texas. This is one of the most desirable suburbs in the entire Houston area. If Pearland is about convenience, Friendswood is about quality. This is where you go to for top tier schools and a little bit more of a premium suburban feel. Friendswood has a smaller population. It's around 40,000, so it feels a little bit more tight-knit, a little bit more exclusive. The biggest driver here is the schools. Friendswood ISD is consistently ranked as one of the best in the area. That alone keeps demand high and inventory tight. Homes here typically sit on larger lots and have a lot more traditional neighborhood feel. Average days on market, it's around 35 to 55 days right now. Now, in terms of value, this is one of the most stable markets you can buy in. Prices hold very well. There's little volatility, and lifestyle-wise, it's clean, it's quiet, and it's pretty close to Clear Lake and NASA. Now, let's talk about the pros and cons of Friendswood. You got top schools, you got strong stability as far as buying in this market, and you have that higher end feel that a lot of people like, a little bit more luxurious, a little bit more elegant, But, another con with Friendswood again, limited new construction, and you got a higher entry price. This is going to be more for like established families and just people that are looking to start that next chapter in life. I wish it was a little bit better for first-time home buyers, but that's just not how that market area is priced. Friendswood, at the end of the day, is going to be best suited for families prioritizing schools and buyers looking for long-term stability. Now we're going to go just a little bit further south. We're going to talk about League City. This is one of the most balanced suburbs on the list. This is where lifestyle meets growth and value. League City has over 100,000 residents, and it is expanding quickly. One of the biggest advantages here is definitely the lifestyle. You've got access to Clear Lake, you got marinas, you got boating, you got waterfront restaurants. I mean, this gives a completely different feel than some of the inland suburbs. On the housing side, you get a mix of established neighborhoods, and then you got newer communities like Westland Ranch. Westwood just closed out over there. You got Legacy, you know, go watch our Legacy video over there with Christian with Highland Homes. That was a pretty great tour. And then right next door, you have Webster. Webster is a smaller community. We're not going to talk about Webster right now, but they got Midline opening up right over there. They just broke ground on it. They actually only have one model home built out in that entire neighborhood right now. But when you look at resale homes in this area, your average days on market's around 35 to 50 days. So a little bit less than, you know, we see in some of the bigger suburbs here in Houston right now. Now, in terms of value, you typically get more house for your money compared to Pearland and Friendswood, and there's still strong appreciation potential. Major employers in the area include like NASA, aerospace, and medical industries all in this area. The pros that you're looking for in this area is definitely going to be lifestyle. You're going to have new construction options, and you're going to have a strong value. Some of the cons of living in this area is you have a longer commute depending on where you work, and traffic in certain areas. Traffic can get really congested in these areas, especially if you're part of that crowd that's rushing up through I-45 in the mornings. I would say League City is best for your relocation buyers, families, and anyone looking for a lifestyle upgrade. Now we're going to get into one of the biggest development areas here on the south side of Houston. That's going to be your Manvel, Iowa Colony area. Now this is where things get really interesting. Manvel and Iowa Colony are the fastest growing areas on the south side of Houston. This entire area is being driven by Highway 288, which gives you direct access to the medical center and downtown. And that's why demand is exploding here. You've got major master plan communities like Meridiana, Pomona, and Sierra Vista. Then you also got Valencia over there. I mean, that area is just kind of a no-brainer right now. That's one reason why we've been tackling that area so hard with our content. These are built for modern buyers with amenities like lagoons, gyms, trails, parks, walking paths, schools, and community centers. Average days on market here is really low. It's around 25 to 40 days. Now let's talk value. This is where you get a lower entry price with higher upside potential. Builders are also offering incentives here, so the new construction market's super hot. We get comments all the time. We didn't know you guys did resale because you have so much new construction content. And it's not because we only do new construction. No, we do residential, we do commercial, we do everything real estate related. But right now, we just see so much value in the new construction market. That's why we've been hitting new construction so hard. It's a great buy. This is Loxley, and that is my burnt baby baked potato there in the background. But with builders offering all of these incentives, it can save buyers a significant amount of money up front. Schools out there is on the Alvin ISD, which is improving quickly as the area grows. Pros out there, obviously, growth, new construction, strong upside potential for your long-term investment. The cons is the retail is still developing, and some of the areas still kind of feel like they're in the early stages. You're not going to have as many offerings that you would have like you would in League City, for example, with all the retail, all the restaurants, and just overall things to do. I would say this area is probably going to be best for your first-time buyers, even investors, and buyers looking for long-term appreciation. And then last on this list is Texas City, and this is one of the most underrated areas right now. This is where affordability meets lifestyle. The biggest draw here is Lago Mar. Lago Mar features a massive lagoon-style amenity. That alone makes this area stand out. When you're driving down the highway and you see Lago Mar on your right, you're like, bro, what is that? And then when you find out it's public and that you can get it for pretty low cost, considering the HOA dues out there, yeah, I mean, they're $1,400 a year, but with the big upside like Lago Mar, it's really not that bad. And then they have multiple restaurants there at the lagoon. So to me, that's kind of a good deal. Everything is right there. It keeps that kind of close-knit community feel that people really seek. You're also close to the coast. You're close to the Galveston Boardwalk. You're close to beach access. Average days on market in this area, you're looking at about 30 to 50 days. Housing here is very entry-level friendly with strong builder presence, consistent inventory. Major employment in this area comes from industrial jobs, refineries, and port-related industries. Now the value here is strong. You're getting one of the best price to lifestyle ratios in the Houston area. The pros out here, obviously, affordability, unique amenities, new construction. Some of the cons out here though, longer commute. It's further south. If you're going to the medical center, you're going to add 20 minutes on your commute as you would to other places in the area. And then you also have some industrial perception depending on location for this area. You have major trucking routes that run through here that are running up to the ports of Houston. This area can just kind of get some of that industrial feel, which might turn some people people away from this area. I would say Texas City is going to be best for your first time buyers, your budget conscious buyers, and your lifestyle focused buyers. Now let's look at the comparisons. So how do these compare to places like Katy, Cypress, or the Woodlands? Here's the difference. First, commute. If you work in the medical center, the south side is significantly better. Second, your price per square foot down here. You typically get more value on the south side. Third is going to be your growth potential. Areas like Manvel and Texas City still having plenty of room to grow. And then finally, your lifestyle down here. League City and Texas City offer water access, which you just don't get in most suburbs in Houston. Right now is a very unique time to buy. Builders are offering incentives, interest rates are stabilizing, and there's inventory available. Yes, we have a lot of volatility going on in the market right now. I don't think we're going to go back down to close to 5% within the next 2 years, especially with everything happening economically. When you factor in the war in Iran and what's going on with oil prices, I mean, that alone does deter a lot of people. But I was having a conversation with someone the other day and I was like, hey, yes, there's going to be some volatility in the market right now, but we don't see prices going down anytime soon. Days on market are actually creeping down, which is great. And I don't know if that's going to be a result of the springtime shoppers are kind of getting out there early or not. But what I'm saying there is if you wait for prices to get down to 5%, you could be overpaying for your house in the long run, because you can change your interest rate, but you know what you can't change? The sales price. And I say all that to ultimately say this creates an opportunity for buyers who are thinking long term. If you're thinking about moving to Houston, reach out to the Living in Greater Houston team. Reach out to us, reach out to me. We'll help you choose the right area, we'll find the best deals for you, and we'll make sure you're making a smart investment. All of our info is down in the description below. We'll talk soon.